All right, guys, welcome back to the Red Plates podcast. This is going to be episode, I don't know what number it is, one of the first ones with Mr. Rich Davidson. So, Rich, we just want to know, man, who are you? You've come onto the scene so quickly. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you've already heard my name. There's not a lot to me. Only done powerlifting 2 years now. Been lifting weights a little bit longer. Played football, did a little bit of Olympic weightlifting. I don't know, I'm a pretty one-dimensional guy, so I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, man, that's crazy because Rich, for everyone listening, if you don't know, he is incredibly strong. And I think your first meet was when? When was your first powerlifting meet?
It was the summer of 2022. It was at
I think it was in Toronto, like the...
hold on. We're going to have to do a quick cut.
Yeah, that's fine.
It was Luke Homer's gym.
The
Ultimate
UF.
Fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that one. It was just an open competition. I had a big 265 squat.
That's crazy.
Oh, big time. And then after that was provincials in Toronto. And that was in September 2022. So, yeah, it hasn't been very long.
Yeah, that's not
That was
long ago.
Hamilton provincials.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
I think so. It was at like that the Make Your Mark people did it? Was that?
No, that was
It was
this
in a
year.
hotel. That was
Oh.
like the tiny back room, super sweaty and greasy. It was
Oh,
Yeah. That was
Hamilton?
Hamilton.
yeah, where you
Yeah,
had one
for
and a half
sure.
racks per
Oh,
platform.
Yeah. That was tough. Yeah, but that's crazy because so Rich's total. What's your total now, and what was it at that first meet 2 years ago?
Oh, good heavens! It's 898,
898.
and at the provincials in 2022, I think it might have been Lucky Sevens. I think it might have been 7775.
Damn.
I'm not certain.
Yeah,
898 now is
Yeah.
only like 9 kilos off the national record, I think.
I think it's 906.
906.
So 8. See, still
Yeah,
good
so
aim at math.
I can't count higher
Neither
than
can I.
5. So
Yeah, it's somewhere between 6 and 8 kilos.
Very close.
But that's crazy.
that much we know for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy progress. I think that's where like people. How many weeks out would it have been, or when was it? You made this one post where you squatted like 8. You did all these crazy numbers, and then that's
Yeah.
when people started to know.
Yeah, I posted I'd been just moving into the heavy phase. It was still some time out from Westerns. And then my last post that I had done was my PR squat at the time, which was 300 at Centrals last year. And then I posted, I don't know, it was like a 355 squat. And it was like a very suspiciously paused, I think 200 or 202. And then whatever I deadlift there. I don't know, something heavy.
I think it was a bit over 8 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. And so that total together was massive. Like that's like a huge total. I don't know what it actually is because again, bad at math.
Yeah.
But that like put everyone on alert. Like,
I know when
remember-
I saw it, I was like, fuck, okay, what weight class is this guy in?
Yeah.
He looks like a thumb. He might be a super.
Yeah, because how tall are you actually? You're pretty tall.
Oh, I'm 6'2" on a good day, but I'd hesitate to say that. So
So 6'1.5".
Yeah.
6'1".
But in powerlifting, you're
Yeah.
like 6'5".
Yeah.
It's different.
oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
an absolute
right.
monster.
Because the guys that are 5'8" are actually 5'4",
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're definitely tall. I'm one of those 5'4" guys.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
tell them I'm 5'10", and they go, oh.
Yeah, because Trevor's 6'3".
The doctor nervously sweating, looking at the BMI chart, like, oh god. How do I tell this guy I didn't have long?
Yeah, man, like that was crazy, that post. And then from there, is that when like the trolling began, or what was the time?
Well, at that point, I think that was when it was kind of like it wasn't like I was hiding training or anything. I just wasn't making posts. I was publishing all this on stories and stuff that people who followed me. My meager little group of people who follow me along for the nonsense I post. And when the campaign of terror began was after the Rich Something video,
Oh yeah.
which I thought was really funny because here we have the guy.
Yeah.
We got Bryce, who's been the guy in 120, 105 powerlifting. He's the guy. You know what I mean? And then that was after I made the post with some of those heavy training lifts. And what I thought was funny is that on one end of the spectrum, you have me. I'm absolute chaos. I'm unprepared, unproduced, just raw nonsense.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, you've got extremely professional, extremely well-spoken, very well-produced, high production quality Bryce.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't know my name, wouldn't you just cut and edit it or just leave it out altogether?
Yeah.
And it was the humming, oh, Rich, what was his name? I'm not sure. I have to
Who knows?
think Rich something. Anyways, it's not important what his name is, this guy. And I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
Because it seemed, whether or not it seemed kind of intentional.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to poke fun. And because that's my personality. And so at that point, I think I made the Heisenberg post, the say my name and then Rich something, and you're goddamn right. And it kind of I gained a lot of traction kind of on its own. Like I just clipped it where I took the 15-second segment where he talks about me, Rich something, and then Lucas Wiseman, who was just like the guy from out east, which was, for better or worse, I thought it was funny. It's like, well, at least he didn't pretend like he didn't know his name. He just didn't even mention his name.
Yeah, the guy
who ends up ultimately beating him. And so I thought, well, this will be funny. And then it got a lot of legs on its own. A lot of people kind of started posting that type of stuff and commenting it on all my future things there. That was like the meme moving forward from there, that it's like, I am the adversary who we don't even know his name.
Yeah. Who is this?
It's like, it's like the man in black there from the old spaghetti westerns. But yeah, so that's how it started anyways.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Because I think as soon as you posted that, like, the shares, like, I don't know if you can see them on your Instagram, like, if you have that business profile or whatever, or if you're not as professional like Bryce.
I'm certainly not professional.
But yeah, like, I'm sure you got a crazy amount of shares on that stuff, because there's, like we talked about just before the podcast, like, people don't really call people out or, like, do any of that. It's, like, a lot of shit talk, but it's not very direct. It's kind of
like group chat shit talk.
Yeah.
It's not very much open banter, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I think once you did that, people were like, oh, shit. Like, this is, like you said, Bryce, the guy who's been around for so long. They're like, oh, this random guy, strong as hell, talking shit. And it was very interesting. Like, it got a little... So, after that post, did it get any, like, deeper? Like, did it...
It was just like a continuation where there would just be, either I'd see something or someone would send me clips or whatever of something relevant, and I would kind of make a decision: is this something I want to run with and make fun of, or not?
Yeah.
And a lot of it was like generating interest for Westerns because powerlifting's such a boring sport.
Yeah.
That it's like having a WWE persona and the hype and the promos, the Ric Flair, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the cream of the crop rises to the top, just adding a little bit of interest to it. So there was a few more posts, and I don't know, I think one of my personal favorites, as simple as it was, I think it was only a story, and it was approaching Westerns, getting very close. And the title series of the vlog continuum there leading up to Westerns and Worlds for Bryce was Road to Worlds, RTW. Well, then it changes to Road to Westerns all of a sudden. And this is shortly after learning that Lucas and I are potentially a threat. So all I posted was that from The Shining, the slow zoom in onto Jack Nicholson, just looking through his brow, and all I had at the bottom was just a clipped little section just saying, episode 22, Road to Westerns. No other comments, no nothing, no captions on there, and basically the intent behind that was like, a lot of people might not realize or see, but I see.
Yeah, I know what's happening.
The little things.
Yeah. And so, I don't think it was to the level of, mind games or anything like that, but I just thought it was a good opportunity to be the heel, the bad guy of the CPU, because you've got the contrast. You've got Bryce, who's the good guy. Well, who do you need then in this competition? Yeah. You need the man in black.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of people tuned in to watch that stream.
Yeah.
There's a lot of views on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say too, because that was funny. I think I seen when he did change it from Road to Worlds to Road to Westerns, and then I seen that post you made. I thought that one was good.
Yeah.
A lot of them that you made were very funny.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, like, so in the back room when this actually goes down, and like you guys face to face for the first time, like what's the tension like in the room? Like other people, like are they like looking around? Like,
well, it's kind of funny. It was an interesting back room from the start. Like waiting for weigh-ins. I mean, we were just in our own kind of areas there. Like I was there with my my coach, who we can chat about a little bit more later, Greg Chin. I was there with my training partner Cam Hughes, and then Adam Jansen, who coaches Cam, who was buzzing around. He still had some things going on, so he wasn't fully there during weigh-ins, but he was back and forth.
Yeah.
So it was us kind of over in the corner. We're over chatting with like Carrie Dennison. We're chatting with Latour. Who I heard is actually French.
Louis, yeah.
And then Bryce is just off on the other side, you know, just doing his own thing, just focused, and we're all just kind of waiting to weigh in. And you know, I mean, I'm standing there in I've got my boots on and my jeans and my Hawaiian shirt just hanging out, unbuttoned about halfway down, just staying loose. I think it's at least personally important you don't get too serious before competitions. Like you gotta stay loose. So I didn't feel that there was any tension necessarily, but we're not going up and shaking hands and asking how each other's doing. You know what I mean? Like we're there to beat each other, and we'll save the pleasantries for after. So we do all the weigh-ins and we move along, and then because we were the final session, we had essentially double the amount of warm-up racks in the back. So I was in the closest area, if you remember where the weigh-ins were. I'm not sure east, west, north, south, which direction it was, but we'll call it east. I was on the most eastern side. Bryce was on the most western side. So we've got like 3 or 4 rows of racks between us. He's against one wall. I'm against the barriers on the others. Cam and I are on a bar. We've got Latour near us warming up as well. And we're just bullshitting and warming up, squatting and so forth. And as the competition progressed, you know, through the squats, through the bench press, generally Bryce and I would be kind of one and then the other in either direction. Like I was just after him for squat. I was before him by a couple lifts for bench, and then same thing kind of for deadlift. And each time, like we're going through the tunnel, and I mean, I was kind of looking for eye contact. Bryce was dialed in.
Yeah.
Like he was so in the zone. He was not looking at me. I'm sure he knew I was trying to look for some sort of reaction. Or he's like, I'm just ignoring this clown. You know, but I was kind of looking at him, looking for the eyes, something. Just I wanted something, you know. But he was smart enough. He didn't give it to me. And then it all came down basically to the last lift. I made an error calling for my last bench press was just a little too heavy. I had a down up was one call, and then hip lift on one side. So it was like an RP 10.5 lift that I completed, but not to standard and missed. So I should have gone lighter on that. And then that last deadlift, I thought I had enough in the tank there, but I just had no gas left. And so I came to the back. I dropped my belt down under the chair, take a seat in the chair, and just watch the screen to see what's going to happen, because he's now called for this massive lift. I think it was 377.5.
Something like that.
Something huge. And, well, son of a gun, he does it. And I remember thinking it wasn't disappointment. It wasn't like sadness or regret or whatever. It was just like, holy shit, he did it. Like he called his number, and he did it. So he comes out and he's all fired up and he's fucking got his mouthpiece that he's pulling out and there's a long trail of saliva and he's brah, coming out. You know how hyped you get after a big deadlift, especially winning. And so I went up, and once he was able to kind of calm down for a second there, shook his hand, said, "Good job, man. I can't believe you did it," or something to that effect. Like, son of a bitch, you actually did it. Something along those lines. We did a little handshake, a little half hug, and just congratulated him and said, like, fuck, man, you did it. Good job. Like, you called your shot and you won. And that's what makes sports so interesting and so dynamic, right? It doesn't matter what you do in the gym. It's the calls and the execution on the day. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily tense, but it was not a friendly necessarily environment where we're not like chit-chatting or bullshitting between sets. We were in our little corner. But we were nowhere near each other through the entire warm-up. So I did hear some interesting stories afterwards, though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there was some controversy. Yes, my goodness. Allegedly, I had been making the warm-up room extremely toxic.
Oh.
Which there were some follow-up posts about that, about creating the toxic environment at nationals and so forth. Which to me, I mean, laughing and joking and then just kind of being in your corner and doing your own thing is not particularly toxic. But
Yeah.
I mean, details were probably intentionally left out for that reason. And then there was a few other minor things, like for example, that I refused to shake Bryce's hand in poor sportsmanship, which, I mean, there's video evidence to the contrary. You can ask Bryce himself, like we shook hands and hugged. And then my favorite line was that apparently there was someone assisting with loading in the back room, and apparently after my third deadlift, well, wouldn't you believe it, I took my belt off and I threw it at his head, buckle and all.
What?
You know?
Where did I hear that? I did hear something
assault
like that.
charges are pending. So stand by on that. I got a great lawyer. His name's Saul Goodman. Yeah. But I was just as shocked to hear that news as you. I did not recall, and that is my statement. I do not recall. So.
Yeah, I do not recall that.
Yeah.
So was it that guy, like this warm-up guy, that said that? Like he's claiming this? Or?
Allegedly, it's hard to say. I don't know if he listens to podcasts, but
we'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, so there was some good stories and controversy there from Westerns, which was good. But I think it was a big meet and very exciting and extremely well run.
Yeah.
Like Ryan and Rhea did an amazing job. It was funny at one point. Rhea came up to me afterwards and just said, "Oh, good lifting type thing." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. Very nice to meet you. My name's Rich. What's your name?" And she's like, "I'm Ray." I'm like, you're one of the two people that everyone should know in the CPU, and I had no idea. Well, thank you for organizing this wonderful competition. Yeah, because they did an awesome job, I think, in terms of the execution.
Yeah, the stream was really good.
The equipment, the stream, the commentary. I think it was top notch, especially coming from, seeing both like the Olympic style weightlifting, competing in weightlifting and powerlifting. I've only done a handful of powerlifting competitions, but just the flow, the way the loaders moved, everything at Westerns was phenomenal. So I think that's kind of the bar to be met now moving forward.
Yeah, I think they're doing 2025 minutes, right?
I believe so. Yeah, back in beautiful Moose Jaw.
Oh,
At least it won't be in Smarch this time.
Yeah. How was that experience, like the weather and stuff?
I think it'll be even better. I think it'll be in February, won't it? Are they going back to quarter one for nationals?
Early March.
It will be in Smarch again. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It was supposed to be in July, but they kiboshed that.
Oh, that's right. The whole schedule changes and all this. I don't keep up with these things. I just listen to my my administrator. They tell me when and where I need to be. Got a guy for that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they know what's gonna happen. Like the CPU's still trying to figure it out. It seems, but I don't know. They might have a plan for the next two, I think, and then they'll change it.
Well, I mean, at least it seems like they tried something new to see if it worked, and I mean, it didn't really pan out, didn't really work in the execution, and so, I mean, that kind of stinks. It feels like a bit of a black eye to be like, oops, this didn't work, and flip back, but I mean, they're going back to what everyone kind of expects.
I don't know how they really thought it was going to work, to be honest.
I don't know. I'm just some guy. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
it was worth the old college try. It didn't work out. Whatever. Go back to the system.
Yeah, you're being the good guy here for once.
September is just a weird time because all the meets are like June, July, and August.
Yeah,
like all the international meets.
Right.
Anyways.
For that kind of scheduling, then
especially
like for
September is odd.
Like the Team Canada level athletes to then try and do a turnaround.
Yeah,
and potentially be cutting again and. Let alone the actual try and secure a spot then for the following year. So.
Yeah. The people that are going to Worlds are on a gauntlet.
Yeah,
like that's,
they just had to fight for that World spot, and now they have to go to Worlds and then come back, and then Rich.
It's not long after.
Rich is there.
Yeah, so like that'll be a challenge for Lucas. I'm sure he's up to it. Like it looks like he's got his training, recovery, nutrition all dialed in, but that's a tough schedule.
Oh yeah,
like to do Westerns, then go all the way to friggin' Lithuania.
Yeah.
Do a little lift, pop back. The next thing you know, beautiful PEI.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
in the capital, of course, not Summerside. I mean,
I think what will help Lucas though is he's still a little light, and I think he's still kind of working his way up. Yeah, so his recovery should be.
Yeah, he's not a certified brother thickness yet.
Yeah, it's not like he's 275 and has to like dial back down for these meets. Like he's still
eating into it.
He's still going on this trajectory, right? So
he told us he was like 250. It was like 253, 255.
I think he said 259.
Okay.
But
Okay, so he's a little heavier, but still, that's like he still has 4 pounds. Like he could gain,
Oh
yeah.
so he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like sitting at the weight class, it's okay. It's just
Yeah.
if you have those big cuts.
Well, especially with the international competitions, like those are so much different than domestic. Like not only now do you have long air travel, time changes, unfamiliar environment and food. But yeah, if you're underweight, that's a huge advantage, I think, for international. If you're eating into your class as opposed to dieting down, just one less factor, one less stress.
Yeah,
So,
he should do really good.
I think he's going to do phenomenal.
We were talking about potential numbers with him, and he said some good things, so we'll see. I think he's just in the B flight, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think he was 9th.
Yeah, he's like the last guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll do really well. I could see him like finishing like top 8 for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so you're right now, you're back into training, prepping for like what we're 15, 14 weeks out or whatever.
I couldn't tell you. I got a guy for that.
Oh yeah, your guy's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just training, and that's going well.
Yeah. Overall, it's going well. Summer's always a busy time, and you try not to be so into powerlifting that you don't live.
Yeah.
Like it's very important to have that balance where, you are actually enjoying time with friends and family. You're going out and doing stuff. You're going to the beach, getting a little vitamin D.
Yeah.
Playing a little spike ball, blowing out your ACL. These types of things.
Shit. Are you a spike ball guy?
Oh, I'm strictly amateur.
Okay. Man, we gotta play sometime.
Yeah.
Trevor?
Him and Kyle.
Yeah,
Because
him and
Kyle's
Kyle.
a professional.
He seems nimble.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
very
he
nimble
gets
guy.
dialed in.
Yeah. Does he wear a headband?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see him as a headband.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure. Got to
dialed.
contain that hair. I haven't had that problem for many moons.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle's like mid like spike. He just like goes, fixes his hair, goes back in. He's dialed in.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think there's like a scale of neuroticism, and the more neurotic someone is, the less likely they are to be successful in powerlifting.
Yeah.
And the less neurotic someone is, the more likely they are to be successful.
Yeah.
So you've got two ends, and of course there's outliers. You've got super neurotic people who are incredibly strong and successful. But I think most people are on that other end. If you're strong, it's because you live your life, you have fun, everything within moderation, there's balance. Powerlifting is not everything, where it's like if you have a terrible training session,
it's game over.
well, whatever, like if you're catastrophizing over this and you
Yeah.
cannot get past this emotionally, well, that's now going to impact your next training session.
Yeah.
It's going to impact your sleep. It's going to impact your stress levels.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just like, well, I kind of sucked, and then you move on with your life and you go do something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just training. We're just lifting weights here.
Yeah. No.
Like it's for God's
I
sake.
feel like a lot of people get stuck on that rut.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people who get like really into it. Like they have one bad session, think that they just suck.
It's over.
Got to rewrite the program.
Yeah. Oh, like I'm bad. I'm weak now. But no, it's not gonna be like that. Not every training day will be great. I was gonna say too, like you said, like people on the other side of the spectrum that like aren't super neurotic. Like we were just yesterday we were training with Eric Willis, and he's like probably on that other side of the spectrum. He's just so laid back.
Yeah.
We were talking about like bench because he did 485, so 4 red plates for like a set of 4, and it was like
4 Red Plates podcast.
Yeah.
Yep, 4 red plates. Yeah, he did it for us. And then it was easy, and then we were just talking about like how to get strong. He's like, I just lie there and like don't think about it, and like this other lifter that he was talking to is like overthinking it all, like everything, and he's just like, I just lay there and press and just think about getting strong. It was like
Just get big and strong.
yeah, big and strong, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
I mean, it's a pretty simple sport when it comes down to it. It's just
Very
like,
simple.
like there's 100 ways to skin a cat with programming.
Yeah.
What it comes down to is, do you try hard?
Yeah.
Do you eat?
Yeah.
And do you sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
And
recovering? Yeah.
Sleep is fairly optional.
Yeah.
That's what caffeine's for.
Yeah.
That's what they did that white.
Yeah, you got to
You
take a
can work
huge
around
dose
that
of
a little
caffeine because I trained in the afternoon and I took a huge dose of caffeine and now I'm exhausted, so now I've got to take another huge dose of caffeine. And whatever.
yeah, that's how it is. Like we just had a coffee, and then after we wrap this up, we'll go and have like some energy drinks, and then we'll just go and have another coffee, and then we'll go home.
Yeah, I've already got my pre-workout loaded. I got one in the chamber ready to go. As soon as we're done here, I'm firing that down and on the way to the gym.
Yeah, let's go, man. And so for your training, you like 2 years in. Before that, you did Olympic lifting. You want to tell us a bit about that? Because you seem good. Seem good at it.
No, I was.
No. You're wrong. I'm not good.
Yeah, we had a bit of a running gag that we were Team C session. So for Canada, Canada's strong in powerlifting, not so much in weightlifting.
Okay.
But we have the best time. We have a few members of the Canadian weightlifting team who are absolutely phenomenal. I'm talking like Olympic and world level medals, but we're just the outliers. And I think a big facet of that is the remnants of the old days of doping protocols in some other countries.
Yeah.
So just like powerlifting with the IWF, every country is technically tested, but there's some countries where, for example, the testers have to gain access to the country.
Yeah.
And they have to get visas, and there's a timeline associated with when they can come in. There's some countries that do the old-fashioned way to pass doping tests, which is just pay the tester. And then there's more sophisticated methods like developing drugs that there just are not tests for.
Yeah.
So some countries like China are using more sophisticated methods with their doping, where you'd see, 10 years later, there'd be a retroactive test, or 8 years later, whatever the limit is. Chinese samples get reanalyzed, and then it was for things like growth hormone and stuff back before anyone was using that. So they're using methods that are just too sophisticated for current testing.
Yeah.
And then you've got a country like Georgia where it's just like, here's $10,000, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
So there's different levels, which I think contributes to kind of Canada's level of success in weightlifting versus powerlifting. So it's not like there's a different level of strength or ability between the two sports. So like, why is there kind of a dichotomy there? But no, we had the best time. We had great people on that team. To answer the original question, no, I'm not very good, but I did try hard for a long time, and I was very stubborn.
Yeah.
And I managed to weasel my way onto a couple international teams and just show up and just enjoy myself. A few interesting countries like Uzbekistan.
Oh, wow.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the best team there. So yeah, that was during peak COVID. During the Delta strain, and we weren't sure. It was right around Christmas time. We weren't sure we were going to be allowed to come home. But once you believe it, so we had to get all our tests just to get into the country. You have to show them all their paperwork. The guy's got like a gemstone eyepiece analyzing your passport, every single page. It's like 3 a.m. We're all just waiting there, and we're worried we're going to get pulled into a side room. And then we had to get rapid tests done every, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 days. We had to go in, get swabs. You had to bring your passport. You get checked off, all this stuff. And I'm pretty sure, because, there had to be well over, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 athletes, then all the coaching staff, then the trainers, then, all of these people. And wouldn't you believe it, not a single person tested positive for COVID from all over the world. So I'm pretty sure they were just dumping them into the garbage after swabbing our nose, which is fine by me. We all made it home.
They're just following protocol, only half of it.
Sort
of following up on
it. So some cool opportunities that I had, but I would not say I was good.
Well,
what were your best lifts?
Yeah, exactly.
In competition, it was, I believe, 148 kilo snatch and a 195 kilo clean and jerk.
Damn.
The clean and jerk I did at both 102 and 109 body weights, and the 148 I think was at 109. But I was in kind of high 140s. I was not good at snatch because I'm just slow and unathletic, which is why I'm so good at powerlifting.
That's what I found interesting, because I didn't know anything about your weightlifting, but I knew you were a weightlifter. But watching you squat, it's so slow and just controlled. Like, it's very different than you see any weightlifter squat.
Which is how I squatted even when I was a weightlifter, because I was never explosive. I was never a dynamic guy. And so I realized it's kind of like just slow and controlled. Just be strong. Don't try and be something you're not. Don't try and be fast or elastic or anything like that. So yeah, it has been interesting though, the change, because the most I ever squatted as a weightlifter was 275 high bar and 250 front squat. And
That's
then
a sick front squat.
Well, that's all we do is front squat, back squat, clean, snatch. And then switching to powerlifting now, I've squatted 360 in the gym, which is just, it's like an entire other universe compared to 275. So yeah, it's been an interesting switch.
And that's crazy. So did you find like switching over? You obviously squatted lots, and you probably did some higher intensity stuff, but that was when you were like 275 was your max, So as you got real strong, did you find it hard to like adapt, like your body, like or no? Because you also gained weight, right?
It's extremely difficult on your body, especially in comparison to powerlifting. Like powerlifting, you do have constantly, aches, pains, strains. You're always dealing with something.
Yeah.
With weightlifting, it's just you're dealing with 5 somethings all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, between like patellar tendonitis, issues with impingement in my shoulders, I had a sprain of my ulnar collateral ligament in my elbow. I had a snatch rotate a little bit to the left side, and then the ligament partially tore, and I dropped the bar on my back, and that was years ago. I was attempting 137, and I never lifted 137 again after that. It was either 135, 136, 138. Yeah. Never took 137 again after that. After I dropped it on my on my dome. But there's just, because it's so dynamic, like you're going into end ranges, you're moving so much faster, and you're doing the same movements with a much higher frequency. Like you basically have to be doing some sort of snatch variation, some sort of clean, some sort of overhead, and a squat multiple times a week, like 4 or 5 or more times. There's some people on Team Canada that were doing, upwards of 8 to 10 training sessions a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So just the beating that your body takes is a lot harder. At least it was for me.
Yeah.
Whereas powerlifting, between the slower nature of the sport, you're not going into such like extreme end ranges of joints.
Yeah.
And you've got so much more bodybuilding kind of associated as like accessories. I find maybe keeping me a little bit healthier and happier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough sport. It was very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, because like your shoulders were probably under a lot of demand there too.
Oh yeah, I had horrible mobility when I started weightlifting. I couldn't do an overhead squat.
Oh damn!
But again, I was just stubborn.
Yeah,
so
you
I just
started
kept
from the
after
ground
it.
up.
Yeah. When I started weightlifting, I'm pretty sure I cleaned like 380 pounds, 385, like around 170, 175. I couldn't jerk more than like 120, and I couldn't overhead squat a bar.
Damn.
So I was like, this is a little bit of a rough starting point here. I got to do a lot of mobility, and so that was why I kind of just stank at snatch.
Yeah.
My entire weightlifting career.
And why'd you get into Olympic weightlifting? Like from football stuff?
Yeah, so I very briefly played football at Laurier. I played O-line for a season, then a little bit. And then I'd racked up concussions through high school, and then I got a couple while I was in university, and then I decided I get one more, I'm out. And then we were in our spring camp, second year, I got another one. I'm like, all right, I gotta.
Yeah.
I still need some of my brain.
Yeah.
And we had done all sorts of power cleans and that type of stuff with training for football, and I thought it was kind of neat, kind of fun, challenging. So it's like, well, I'm kind of strong, so maybe I'll just do this. It took, I guess. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed the punishment enough on a daily basis to continue for, I think it was 9 and a bit years.
Oh wow.
So,
you fully did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like the power cleans that you guys do for football it's a lot. Like people, that's why you had like 385. You said.
Yeah, that was a clean from the floor though.
Okay.
That was a full clean, not a power clean.
Oh damn.
Yeah. Not. I was not that powerful. Again, I didn't have that speed. I was just move things slowly and try and duck under it.
No, that's still super impressive.
So what made you switch to powerlifting?
I was just too beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every session I'd have to do an hour of mobility before I arrived at the gym. My warm-up would be a half hour to 45 minutes. And then there'd be some days where I couldn't snatch 75% anymore. Yeah. Because my shoulders were so dysfunctional, the pain in my elbows. I had an increasing amount of issues with the elbow that I had the ligament injury in, to the point where I couldn't close the angle to hold my hand on the bar at the front rack of a clean. So like I just couldn't close that angle anymore because I was just creating, I think it was just a buildup of scar tissue and whatnot, and I wasn't gonna go for surgery or any of this shenaniganery just to keep being like mediocre at weightlifting. So I was like, you know what, I'm hurt, everything hurts all the time, I hate training, this isn't fun anymore. I enjoyed it, I had a good run. My last competition was the World Championships in Uzbekistan, which was my best international performance, and I was like, you know what, this is a good one.
Yeah, you ended on a good note. Like
So I was happy with that, and sad to not see some of the friends from the team as much anymore. But it was kind of like, you know what, I'm not going to be one of these guys that hangs around and is like snatching 30 kilos when I'm 85. I'm not even going to live till I'm 85. Yeah. So, I'm like, I was doing this to try and be at the highest level I could, and that's what I had enjoyment from, and I was not at that level anymore. I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to get back to where I was after that competition. And so I said, let's move on to something where I can start off incredibly mediocre and hopefully improve at, and the improvement will be fun. So,
Man,
and I switched to powerlifting. Yeah.
You improved a lot, 2 years.
Yeah, I think a lot of it. Some people see the numbers and they're like, "Ooh, suspicious."
Yeah.
But I had a couple
big thing.
injuries through that period where I had like that almost linear progression, and then I'd get a little setback. Like in my first summer, towards the end of it, or no, it wasn't the summer. It was just after provincials, so whenever that was, September or October. I squatted 290 where I stopped midway and almost exploded, and then. We were running a phase of training where it was like a ton of high bar squats, massive amount of squat volume, and I was responding really well, really rapidly, and then both my knees blew up. And I had like catastrophic tendonitis come back, but in a different spot than I'd ever had it from weightlifting. I actually had quad tendonitis above the kneecap, not below, and it was brutal. And so then I couldn't really deadlift, I couldn't squat, and I had to do a big regression.
Bunny.
Oh, almost
Got a little
petite
bunny.
lapin in my ear.
We're just in the backyard, so we see a little bunny in case anyone's wondering what happened.
Squirrel!
I'm sure if we weren't here, Rich would have chased it. And,
Yeah, oh yeah. We're just holding it back.
Make a soup. All right, buddy, get in the pot. Yeah.
But yeah, you said, so you got those injuries, and then like, what?
Yeah, so then it was a regression, and then, build back up, and then I think I blew up something in my back, and then same thing, build back up, and then I managed to stay injury-free all the way to Westerns, which is where then I was able to start breaking through those plateaus where, like I had come so close to doing 300 just after provincials, but then with that massive training volume, we realized like I respond to it, but I can't recover from it.
Yeah.
So we can't use that anymore. And then kind of similar thing, I think it was just with deadlifting. I put my SI out, which was an issue that I dealt with for a long, long time with weightlifting. It was a heavy set of 3 deadlift, and I had no business doing the last rep, and I knew it. I knew it after the second, and I did it anyway. And then right at the top, I felt like a clunk, and I'm like, oh well, there's consequences of my actions here.
Yeah.
So then that was a bit of a setback, and then building up again. So it was just kind of learning those lessons of what I can tolerate in a powerlifting training environment, and then what I can't. So.
Yeah. But it's probably because, like, you're progressing so well, too. Like, you're just getting so much stronger from, like, even in 2 years to see your squat go from, like, you said 265 on a comp to, like, squatting almost 365. So that's, like, a lot. And then, like, doing, like, you're pushing that training intensity. It's just, like, a lot to recover from.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do train like a meathead, so it is a balance of knowing when to push, when to pull back, when to be smart, when to be stupid.
Yeah.
I am stupid most of the time, which I do think helps.
Yeah, like you said.
But you can't be too stupid. That's the key.
Yeah.
Everything's in balance.
Yeah, there's I mean, at commercial gyms, I think a lot of people go too stupid, and then you have to like at least know what you shouldn't do and then be stupid. Like don't risk it all.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to push and be dumb. That's why, me and Trevor are decent, We've been stupid for a while.
Are you sure? We're podcasters now.
Oh, yeah. We actually were talking. Yeah, it was so funny. Like, so we had Lucas on, and he's like, oh, like, did you guys get your name on, like, the singlet? Or on, like, what was it? The top? He's talking about, like, the
jacket or something.
Yeah, he's like, did you guys get your names on it? I was like, bro, we're podcasters. We're not going to Worlds.
We both fucked up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's good. Like Lucas will be good, and that battle will be good too. Lucas.
I think it's gonna be a big showdown.
The 120s are stacked now. It's crazy.
Yeah, Marc-Antoine Gosselin. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Yeah, he just did a big PR total too. 875. Looked very convincing.
If Mark ever puts together like a good 9-for-9 day, like PR and all 3 lifts, it'd be a weapon total.
Yeah. So hopefully he's in shape and puts up another big total there too. And, I think it'll be a good battle.
Yeah. There's like how many of you that could probably hit like that?
There's the other big fella there, the Frenchman. What's
Mark Cardinal?
No, the other big Frenchman.
Bell?
Is he
a 120 or 120 plus?
The Valorant guy?
Yes.
Valorant.
Jeremy.
Oh,
Jeremy
yeah.
Valorant.
Yeah, he's open now, I think.
Jeremy something.
Jeremy something.
Yeah. No, he's wicked strong too.
Yeah,
so
he's got big squat.
Yeah, he's a big squatter. He's getting really good too.
Yeah, because he had that kind of call it provincials there. I think it was his deadlifts where he ended up like he lifted it all 3 times, but he kept getting red lighted.
Was it hitching?
I think it was the lockout. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
His legs are just so big,
strong.
Just,
like he's ripping.
Yeah.
I think it was like 330, like ripping it off the floor.
Yeah.
And then just red light. That kind of stinks. But yeah, there's another super strong dude. So
yeah.
Yeah, he is progressing really well too because he must be like 23
He's done,
or 24.
What, 865?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be like what, at least 6 guys over 1,900 pounds. Anyways.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
I can't count past 5, but I think it is 6.
Yeah, something like that.
more than 5.
Yeah, more than
Yeah.
5.
Could be 6, could be 20. I don't know.
But it will be good.
Yeah.
Man. That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
And by then, like, do you have like any idea of where you might be totaling, or just
Oh,
when?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do today, let alone, let alone in September. But I mean, the goal is going to be put up a personal best total, hopefully win.
Yeah.
Break some more records.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty neat if Lucas and I can go back and forth and like break the squat record multiple
Yeah.
times in the session. I think would be really cool.
I think
whether or not it'll
actually.
play that way,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it'll be a good battle for sure. So.
Yeah, that would be good, man.
There's finally some big squatters in that class.
I know.
Because
yeah.
forever it was like everyone squatted 300, but they deadlifted 800.
Yeah.
Now that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually was like that. Like, I feel like I'd always watch like literally 300 kilos would be like the top. End.
Yeah, like
310.
23 nuts. Like it was Carrie, Eric, and Bryce. They all squatted like
I think Carrie put
3-ish.
310. Yeah.
maybe
310 was
310,
at the
yeah.
top.
But they all just pulled a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always like
All
wait
of
till the deadlift
Yeah.
to see who's on.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
having
like the
a good day.
120s were barely out squatting like the 93s.
Well, I can remember my first
105s.
experience seeing Carrie deadlift was that provincial championships there,
That was wild, yeah.
where he pulled the
Yeah.
record,
Yep.
and it was it 363.5?
Yeah, I think he had it at
or-
363. So he
Which
probably
provincials
Yeah.
was this one that you guys were speaking of?
Hamilton.
Oh, 2022?
22.
I think 22, yeah.
When you were
And
babies.
I was in the back room there, and I had done my stinky little PR at, I don't know, it was like 300 something.
Yeah.
And then Carrie goes out, and the room was electric.
Yeah, it blew up.
Yeah.
Everyone was on their feet, and that was one great aspect of it actually being a smaller room.
Yeah.
Because like the energy was
Oh,
just
it's
like
crazy.
it was about to blow the windows out.
Yeah.
And everyone was peeking through the curtains and oh my god, oh jeez, oh he did it, oh my god.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that and being like, that's bananas.
Yeah.
Like how can a human do this?
Yeah,
This
that
is
room
crazy.
blew up.
Yeah, that was a really cool lift.
Yeah, Carrie's sick. Yeah, he has like a lot of fans too. Cause
Well, he's got a
Carrie's-
haircut you can set your watch to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been around for a time,
Yeah.
too. It was cool to see him win.
Yeah.
Because he'd been on the podium forever.
Yeah, yeah. And then he went to Worlds like last year, wasn't it?
Yep, yeah, I think he ended up going, what, 5th or 6th or something,
Yeah,
I think.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's crazy too, because I don't know what his total was, but now like the total that's a little bit higher, it won't even make the A flight. Like it's
It's
crazy.
jumped.
Yeah, on the world level, the 120s have gone up a lot.
Yeah.
Like the
Everyone's
past year.
getting really good in powerlifting. You
Yeah.
joined at a good time.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Let me think. Is there anything else we can talk about? I mean, we talked about the Bryce stuff. You think that battle will continue, like the memes and?
Do you guys talk at all, or it's just memes?
We've
makes a video, you make a video.
briefly chatted in the DMs, and I will not reveal the contents of a
Yeah.
private conversation. But no, we don't like chat.
No.
we don't. We
Yeah.
don't talk. Yeah, I don't think we're on speaking terms necessarily at this point in our relationship.
It's cool that he found you on Instagram though, without knowing your last name.
It's kind of funny, I know. Yeah, yeah. The most
Sketch.
recent controversy there was with the whole the merch drop there, where I was kind of making fun of that video,
Oh,
and
I
just being again my training partner Cam Hughes and the two of us just being like knuckleheads, just meatheads, just lifting, slamming bars, having a good time. America jean jacket, salute, and just goofing around as
Yeah.
opposed to like the seriousness.
Seriousness? Yeah. I
But
have to
again,
check
that's the
that
two
one
ends of
out.
the spectrum. Is like I'm just chaos in here having fun, and then there's Bryce who's like a professional
Yeah.
and trying to be very refined and
Yeah.
polished and all
Yeah.
this, and I'm just the exact opposite
Yeah.
of that.
You
We're
guys-
both in like training philosophies, in training styles, personalities. I think we were as like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
But I'm like the fucked up scratched one from Harvey Dent's little collection there.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys both fill your roles really well.
Yeah.
Like he is very good at what he does. You're good at what you do. The memeing, it's good. Like I think it's important for, especially Canadian powerlifting. Like the reason why we like wanted to do the podcast too is like to highlight that stuff, and it's cool that people are like, it's not even hard. Like you guys are just going at it, and it's fun.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it brings a little bit of intrigue to the sport.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
make people care.
Everybody's
that they can
nice.
at least tune in just to see, and
yeah, powerlifting is a good sport where like everyone's really nice and stuff, but like sometimes you need like some.
It's such a boring sport that it's nice to have something interesting happening. Kind of, right?
Yeah, I think like the outside perspective is like, oh, like you two hate each other. Like I think like, that's what people think.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope that none of it is really like crossed the line and like legitimately upset him. Or upset anyone. You know. Like I hope it can all be taken with a bit of a grain of salt, and that this is all supposed to be, you know, a persona, that this is all for fun, that this is all to just, you know, make people laugh and tune in and all that stuff there. And I mean, if it does actually hurt feelings, well then I would suggest you maybe need to man up a bit. But
some people are so soft.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but you know, I'm just trying to make people laugh.
No, yeah, you do a good job of it. It's like marketing for like the UFC events, or like they have like the heel and like the face and like, you know,
I'm the Iron Sheik, baby.
Yeah. And you don't actually go in on like anything like personal. It's just all like memes and stuff. Like,
and I mean 90% of what I posted was either like a direct response to something said or like clipped or you know whatever. Or just like posting words that were said in the context of like the competition or about me, and it's just like, in isolation this does look kind of silly, or you know, just criticizing individual comments or whatever, and I think that's like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a personal attack, it's not whatever, it's just you know, if you're gonna have a platform and talk, well, so will I.
So
anybody can these days.
No, it's good. Like you're pretty much just like clipping it. Like whenever I see like the post that you have made, I'm just like, oh yeah, like he's not even really doing anything. He's kind of just highlighting what's been said, like the rich or something. Yeah,
and I mean ultimately too, like all the smack talk and everything. Like I made a post where in the caption you read it and it's just saying Bryce won. He did it. I didn't qualify it. I didn't say, well, if I had made my third bench press, that I would have won, and you know, if I made my deadlift, it would have been our national record. Like, well, I didn't. And that's not how the sport goes. And so you don't qualify these things. You just say, he did it. He won. Congratulations. I lost. I'm the fool this time.
There's always next time though, especially like if you don't stop, like there's no end. Like you just keep it going.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting comeback story there for the rivalry, the redo. You get the guy from out east. Yeah, Rich something.
Someone should make like a trailer for like the
that'd be hilarious.
Just beforehand.
Rich something. I don't want to spoil anything, but Lucas and I have been in early production talks of cutting some promos as we get closer to nationals. So we'll see what we're able to cook up there. I promise it may not be good, but it sure will be terrible.
No, man, that's all that like it needs to be done. Just anything, like any effort like that is just so good. You guys will probably have the most viewed session. Like I would be surprised if not. And then like what, you guys got that charity boxing match, you and Bryce after, or what?
Oh my goodness!
The Royal Rumble for best lifter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would actually be better.
That'd be good.
Let's get top 10.
Yeah,
top 10.
Or just podium from every
giant
class.
Cage match.
The podium from every class. The 66 is done.
Folding chairs.
I'd only last like 30 seconds, but I'd take down a couple small guys with me.
Yeah, it depends on the arena. If you just like back up into a corner, the wall's behind you, and you're just there like throwing fists, grabbing people, slamming them, you could do well.
I've watched Nacho Libre enough times. I've got the moves.
Oh yeah.
And they come to squeeze.
Yeah. That's what we were saying yesterday. We just watched like the UFC event, and on the way home it was just like a not good area. We're like, it's okay because we just like watched hours of
We're
fighting.
ready. We know how to grapple. We can armbar this bum.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Spare change, and then just sock him in the face there. Yeah. So what's this deal with you being arrested? No, it's nothing. Clear-cut self-defense.
That's normal in powerlifting now. Getting arrested, stiffy corners.
Oh my God! Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah, that's crazy.
My goodness. Well, innocent until proven guilty, I guess. But Looking forward to that body cam.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
Sweep the leg.
Oh, she's been training for this. She has many fights now.
Yeah.
I think.
I kind of forgot she
I don't know if you saw the
existed.
recent update there, allegedly. I don't want to get lawsuited here, but
Yeah.
actually, I'm just going to leave it at that.
You already have the assault one come in.
Yeah.
That kid in the back room. You wanna
Yeah.
get into it.
Yeah, I got to be careful. I'm going to end up in the slammer doing prison workouts. Yeah.
Yeah, damn, it would be hard to add to the total from the prison. No.
I don't know. Have you seen those prison powerlifting YouTube videos?
Oh, they have power.
Those guys are big.
Can CCS get into jail?
No.
Oh, new
Have
strategy.
Have they been like targeted? Like, you think people have reported you? Like, have they like come to get you?
I don't know. I got tested here the other night on a Saturday night, and they
Okay.
came. They didn't take my blood. They just took my urine. It was funny. There was a fella. I didn't recognize him because there's a couple sets. There's like a West and an East in Ottawa testers, and it was a new tester and then just a chaperone, I guess, because the tester was female. And the dude's like waiting there, looking at me in the bathroom, and he's like, "Just pretend like I'm not even here." And I'm like, "That
Did it help?
that doesn't help. I'm doing my best here. I really am." But yeah, I just got an email. I've been added to the national pool, so hopefully I can get into the registered testing pool where you have to do whereabouts. As much of a pain in the ass as that is, it would be cool to have been in 2 registered testing pools.
Yeah.
Like,
So, because I had to do all the whereabouts and stuff for weightlifting,
Yeah.
and my God, it stinks. But
Yeah.
you know, it is kind of cool
Bragging
that you're
rights.
like, I'm good enough that they're willing to spend time, energy, and money to make sure that I'm doing this properly.
yeah,
so
they're like, this
that
guy
is nice.
Can't be natty.
Yeah.
Look at him. So
Yeah.
big and
It is
strong.
funny, like no matter how many times I get tested, I'm still nervous every time.
Yeah.
That I'm
Makes
like,
you like,
oh
well,
my
what
God, like what if there was something in that Advil? Yeah, that there's a nervous 2 weeks, and then oh, thank goodness.
Because you don't even find out though. Like, it's only like you'd get like notification like you got.
If you're in the registered testing pool, you have an Adams profile,
Okay.
and you can log in and see your test history. So because I was in the registered testing pool for weightlifting, I have an Adams profile that's now been carried over to powerlifting,
Oh,
so I can
cool.
see.
Oh, okay.
So I have my testing history of weightlifting and powerlifting, and it's all just like one
Oh
itemized
damn.
list. So
How many times were you getting tested for weightlifting?
It wasn't that many. It was only once I became half decent, which was right towards the end, and I don't know. It was maybe like 6 times in the last like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
So not a tremendous amount. Like I got tested out of competition a couple times, and then in competition, there was one really sketchy one in it was Ecuador in 2021, I think, and the guy was just like, "Yeah, here's the bottle. Go in the stall."
What?
And I was like, "Don't you have to watch my wiener, sir?" And he's like, "Nope." And meanwhile, at that competition, like Colombia was for sure hot. Like they were all doing records, and they like just looked like gassed up, like
Yeah.
ready to go. They
Like
were
the
smoking
round
everybody,
shoulders
all
and
the
traps.
ladies, all the men. Everyone was just decimating everyone. We're like, every single one of them's going to test positive. And then I go to get tested, and I'm like, no one's going to test
No
positive.
one-
here.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the only time that I was like, this is wrong. And there was like no electronic copies. It was all just like paper,
Yeah.
like sign and duplicate type stuff.
Oh damn.
And I brought it up to CCS. I'm like, just so you guys know, like testing was not conducted to standard here. This
Yeah.
is super sketchy, all this stuff. Because there's supposed to be like, if you have questions, comments, but like there was nothing on this piece of paper in Ecuador.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I should probably let someone know about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is crazy. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you were saying too about like the testing. You feel like obviously in Olympic weightlifting, it's not like the other countries aren't being held to that standard.
Yeah.
But like in powerlifting, you think is like much better. Like for the most part.
I mean, it seems like the countries that are involved in the IPF, at least. I mean, I don't know enough about it to have learned, but it seems like when you look at the numbers overall, when you look at say Canadian athletes versus other athletes, like there isn't a huge discrepancy.
Yeah.
Whereas if you would look at that, like Canadian, American, the UK with weightlifting, like all the heavily tested, the Germans, like all the heavily tested federations and countries, there was a big discrepancy between like countries, like any kind of former Soviet country, China, Thailand, like any of these countries that are a little bit more suspect.
Yeah.
There'd be
Their
massive
numbers are
discrepancies
all-
consistently.
Even over the States too. Like, cause
Yeah, well, they had a lot of really good athletes, but you'd still see, like, there's still that, like, next kind of...
Yeah, next level.
Well, especially when the results of these athletes now, with the advent of social media, like, you're seeing their training results at home, domestically.
Yeah.
And then they come international, and it drops 10-15%.
Yeah.
Across the board. And you're like, well, what are they...
Yeah,
I mean, international competitions are difficult, and sometimes you see a drop in performance, but not 10 to 15% uniformly across the country.
For the whole team,
just
a week.
Yeah, and it's not like they're just like missing lifts. It's like they're opening lighter and finishing lighter.
Yeah.
So, whereas powerlifting, I don't know, it seems like Canada's kind of like the barometer that we know. Like, we know testing is conducted here. We know testing is thorough. We know it's like you're not bribing testers and stuff here. So we know our internal standards, so we can kind of compare outside of that. Where it's like, I mean, you get one freak from one country. Well, that's impossible to say.
Yeah.
You know, is he clean or not? But if you see like an entire country and you see patterns, then that's kind of when you can.
Yeah.
I know when the USAPL was getting the boot, they made a big thing, and there is a lot of countries that do 0 tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think India actually just got pulled
just got
from
kicked out,
Worlds because
They were troublemakers in weightlifting as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just failed. I think like 2 or 3 people failed their test going into Worlds, so now the whole team's done.
But to be honest, I don't know of any like top level lifters from India that I can think of, anyways.
No, I don't think anyone was gonna go and make some crazy noise. They probably would have just taken.
They were trying, obviously. If they're all popping.
Yeah. I think like some of the lighter weight classes, like 74s, like, but I think it's juniors, to be honest, that like were good. Maybe some open, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't take like top 5, I don't think. But still, it's good that they're doing that. Like, it does suck though. Like, imagine like if like a few people on Team Canada pop, and then you're just not going now, and you just trained like 5-10 years for this. It's like,
that stinks. But
I know that there's one guy, super heavyweight, AJ Sharma or something. He lives in Britain, but he's from India, so he didn't make the Britain team because they don't do it per weight class. They do it like by GL or whatever. I don't know what they do. So he went and joined like Team India, and then they got the boot.
Yeah.
So he,
yeah.
Like, that would suck so bad.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we actually can just wrap up here because I think it's been like an hour almost.
Yeah.
And I know you got training and other things to attend to.
Yeah, well, we'll continue this on the Patreon then.
Yeah, exactly.
The R-rated version. The second hour.
Only fans.
You really want to hear my thoughts on stuff going.
Yeah, it's behind the paywall.
Yeah.
With the Only Bears for Trevor.
Yeah.
That's where we got the money for the mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more mics.
Didn't know that you guys were classy like that.
Yeah. Well, man, it was great having you, and I think, like, honestly, like, people hearing you speak, like, you're good at this stuff. You should make some more talking videos, and if anyone wants to follow Rich, where can they find you? Rich something on Instagram?
Yeah, something like that. You don't need to follow me.
Just if you find it, you find it. That's it.
Yeah. Organic.
You'll
growth.
know when you find it.
Yeah, organic growth. We're not doing that paid growth.
Yeah, no.
It was expensive.
No shoutouts, no promos.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it, man. Anything else you want to like touch on or anything?
No, it was just good talking to you boys, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it was nice. This is our actual first time.
Thanks for having us over in your
absolutely.
backyard.
I know.
Oh,
It's such a beautiful place.
Yeah, take a bunny with you for your soup on your way home.
Yeah. We need one because we just had like nothing to eat.
A little snack on the way back to Toronto.
Yeah, man.
Big city.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, yeah, I mean, if you ever come out there, like, we'll definitely let us know. We can train and stuff. And
sounds good. We can link, as the youths say.
Yeah, we'll link it up, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, best of luck with your training. Maybe we'll have you on again because
probably before nuts.
Yeah,
sure, whatever you want.
We'll try to get you, Lucas, and Bryce all at once.
Yeah, we'll just
we won't tell Bryce.
Crossfire.
Yeah, we won't tell Bryce, and it'll just come on with all you.
Yeah,
we'll just gotcha him.
And then we'll just leave.
Yeah,
the
we'll
call.
leave the
all right,
call.
we're gonna have to cut this section out so you get the jump on him.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, everyone. I don't think you can like and subscribe, but leave a rating. All right.
All right.
Till next time.
Bonsoir.
That'd be